flexibility of MaggoGx and how I think MaggoGx is pretty good. But honestly, Guild Trader does offer you flexibility just in a different way, right? You can draw a card if you pick it up off of Secret Passage. It allows you to be more flexible with your other spell damage because you know that you always have the backup spell damage of Guild Trader once the game gets to that point. So it's grown on me more and more as this tournament's progressed, and the players that have Guild Trader in their Garrote row get further and further up in the standings.
Yeah, I like it a lot, and especially when we see how much one card different helps in terms of Secret Passage. So many times I've seen Secret Passage into Trade the Guild Trader, which makes such a big difference, just being able to cycle through those cards and making sure you are fluid in your card draw and never left with an awkward hand. To start things off, though, in this Garrote Rogue mirror, both players with reasonable enough starting hands. Neither player has got the Octobot quite yet, which is obviously what really makes these hands pop. But weirdly enough for Maggo, he's got the kind of hand that can generate quite a lot of tempo, even without any additional help. All of these one-drops just equal quite a lot of board.
Yeah, they do. And that tempo in its own right. I feel like a lot of times we see sort of this dynamic with rogue mirrors where one player has a more combo-centric hand, one player has a more tempo hand. And it does seem like the tempo hand comes out on top a lot more often because they end up having to deviate anyway to not fall behind on board or leave things up. And a lot of times the player's creativity in the matchup is what sets them apart.
Indeed.
You're paying for my discretion.
Just double ones here. Make sure you order the AUG merchants correctly.
Yes, I've also seen that one too many times, mainly from looking at the screen of my own games as I mess that up time and again. But this is the kind of play that is opened up as a result of running the Guild Trader, right? You can just throw away these ethereal AUG merchants quite happily.
Yeah. Furyhunter was channeling his brain energy there. That's pretty cool. Always a big fan of players channeling their brain energy. One of my favorite aspects of Hearthstone is the brain energy aspect.
The telekinetic aspect of the gameplay.
Yeah. Love to see it. Love to see it. All right. So, field contact, Octobot. But how do you go about it? That's the big question. Also, a Shadow Step. So this is... Could just go for the base, like baseline play of field contact, Shadow Step. Then next turn, start with field contact, Octobot, something.
That's true. Yeah, it's a weird turn, right? Because generally you want to pop off with an Octobot or a field contact turn when there's plenty of minions on the other side to target with your AUG merchants and prize plunderers. And there kind of is that here with 2 minions on the other side. But then, you know, do you want to go with a Octobot turn, play all the minions before you've played field contact? Maybe it's just Octobot and proc it, and then hold everything else back. Maybe even Shadow Step the Octobot, as it looks like he's going for here, for just maximum mana reduction, not even bothering with bouncing the field contact next turn.
Wow, okay. This is pretty cool, because this is like the most mana efficient, right? Like as far as... like you said, maximum reductions. This allows Furyhunter the most mana possible to go for a pop-off turn. What? He's scared of Neophyte? Wait, what is he even scared of?
Nothing, really, right?
A stealth field contact?
It's quiet. Too quiet.
Yeah, I guess that's what he didn't want to see, is a field contact that he can't answer off of the... off of the Shroud, which is exactly what he's got, so we do need to see for Furyhunter a powerful play to answer this, which, to be fair, again, he has got. He's got the exact type of hand that can answer a big push from Maggo. It could end with Octobot and then proc it with his own Penflinger or his own AUG Merchant if he wanted to reduce all of these cards, get an even more discounts, even more card draw. Like, as upset as Furyhunter is to see that, this is still an insanely powerful turn.
It certainly is. And this is... Saw he went right away. Prep Shroud is fantastic. Still has the Brain Freeze as well. Can fit in a Pen Flinger to just get efficient draw out.
Yeah, now he's maybe regretting playing that Pen Flinger before he played the Shroud, because he can't play the Neophyte at the end of this all as well, which would be a really nice way to try and protect his board a little bit more, making Swindle and Brain Freeze a little bit harder to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Springwater here.
Okay. Well, that was a lot of draws, but now Maggo gets to go. Okay, sorry. One more. Got a little bit myself there. 11 cards left in deck. But a field contact sticking on the board, so now Maggo has the full 5 mana to be able to do it. Problem is, no Shadow Steps in hand, has to spend the first 3 mana on Octobot plus proc the Octobot.
And the really big question here for Maggo is, can he set up lethal for next turn? Because Furyhunter, I think, is 2 turns away from getting lethal here pretty much every situation. And so for Maggo, it's about setting up that 1 turn earlier with the Swindle to go alongside this. That's an awful lot of card draw he's getting, but he will then have used up both Ethereal Orc Merchants, so needing to use the Guild Trader can be pretty expensive if you're going in on 6 mana.
I can still find a Shadow Step at the end of this, but I don't think
that's true
that the Ethereal Orc Merchant would be the Shadow Step target at this stage. It would probably be the Octobot, but there's no Octobot on hand. Maybe the Field Contact to be able to do this turn all over again?
Well, now the problem for Maggo is that if he plays Swindle, he actually overdraws 1 card, and so therefore he might deviate away to just Brain Freeze, which is fine, I think, but the upshot of this all, unless he wants to go prep Swindle at the end, is that basically he has not set up lethal next turn. I think it's going to be very, very tight for him to get there if he can do it at all.
Oh, it's only 6 mana available. Like, it felt like so much has happened, and then you look down, it's like, oh, okay, turn 6. Cool. Like, the players are still quite far away from an actual combo kill. Maggo's actually stuck a good amount of just actual damage on the board. Secret Passage is the spell picked up.
Okay, and so now with 10 cards in hand, 8 cards left in deck, he obviously still wants to find the Field Contact set up for lethal next turn. One Thief doesn't dump a card, though, in terms of trying to go for Secret Passage. Shooting Star does start to mop up some of this damage, because that is also a big concern for him. It's not just about trying to get the combo, it's about surviving on board, which he can now easily do with that Shooting Star.
Yeah, and still preserve some board for himself. And now board has tempo. Maggo has to start from 0. Still a couple discounted cards left in hand with an Octobot, but no Field Contact to go alongside it.
And for Maggo, this is just not lethal, right? If you go with 0 spell damage, it's 16 with all the Garots. But a 4 damage Guild Trader, even if you discount it to 3, it's just too expensive.
Yeah. And still minimal card draw.
Give me that.
Furyhunter is... I think he's out of brain energy.
He's channeled all he can channel.
He's tapping into it, but he's coming up empty. He's trying to get the last little bit out. Trying to tilt it upside down, get that last drop.
Slap in the back of his brain to try and get that bit of brain in.
Yeah. You got to make sure you put that brain energy in the fridge upside down. That way it has all night to drip down to that last drop.
That's the secret to Gabby's success. He sleeps like a bat hanging from the ceiling.
So when he wakes up, all his brain energy is already there, ready to be expended, squeezed out.
flying out of his eyes. Either way for Furyhunter, I think that face more or less sums it up. With the Neophyte down, he cannot go for the combo right now, and so he needs to try and set up for making it as easy as possible next turn, right? Because even with these minions in play, he can get it so he only needs to do 24, but that's not really an all too common... Well, sorry, it is a common breakpoint 24 because you just need one spell damage then in order to be able to finish things off. But without the field contact, again, it's not happening.
No. Okay.
So you can...
Just get these cards out of the deck.
Yeah, but do you Shadow Step the Neophyte? The question is, after those discounts, can they kill you with 7 mana if all their spells cost 1 more? It's going to be really close.
Give me that. Not what I want. Give me that. Not what I want. You're paying for my discretion.
All right, well, here we go. He's just going all in on the board plan, trying to make it so he very possibly himself does not need any spell damage to go for the lethal. He can just go with the Grots, or maybe just 1 spell damage and find 2 or 3 of the Grots instead of needing all of them to go for the combo. However it works out, this is going to be a scrappy game for Furyhunter and for Maggo as well, as with the field contact off the top, like, he can look at trying to go for lethal here with just field contact, the Octobot, but the problem is he doesn't have a way to proc the Octobot right at the moment, so he can't go for the lethal that way. Oh.
Could go Guild Trader. No, you can't do that. Is there anything even in the deck?
I don't even know what he's looking for, like Shadow Step maybe to bounce the Neophyte in order to make the combo more difficult for his opponent to do, but just look at all the minions that are on board before you even start worrying about combo.
Okay.
So you can go Octobot, Orc Merchant to give it spell damage and discount your hand, double Garrot for 4 mana, sorry, yes, and then trade the Guild Trader and hope that you draw enough to close out the game? Is that his best chance?
There's 3 natural cards there. He's got Pinflinger as well for 0. No, Pinflinger doesn't draw a card because there's no field contact.
No contact.
What does this need? There's 4, 5, 6 on board.
Another happy
So it needs 12, so it needs 4 bleeds. 1. 2. Oh! No!
Oh, such a good effort. I guess he only needed 3 because of the fatigue as well, right?
No, it was.
Oh no, he still needed 4. Yeah.
He still needed 4. Yeah. Now this Guild Trader, double Garrot, and then
yeah, Cram Session or bounce the Penflinger and play it with the field contact. It's very easily lethal. Yeah.
Yep.
Nicely done. Nicely done indeed by Maggo. A weird game. Something that often comes up in these Garrot Rogue mirrors is just how scrappy they get in the mid-game. And the thing for Fury is I think he set up very beautifully the chance to hit these lethal, but he just didn't find the field contact in time to go alongside the rest of it. And therefore Maggo was just 1 step ahead in terms of the combo game plan throughout.
Yeah. But I wonder what the odds are there. There's 6 bleeds in deck, so 9 cards total, and you need 4.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's too much maths. I've had an empty bottle of brain energy for going on 5 years now. Just haven't been able to go to the brain energy store to get a new one. So there you have it. Maggo takes game one, an important one too, with a Garrote Rogue mirror. It seems like the force your opponent to play Rogue kind of lineup. With the first player to get the win with Rogue has a significant advantage, because then now your opponent has to win with Rogue and you don't.
Exactly, yeah. And I think Fury will take that as, obviously it sucks that he loses in terms of just taking the loss in this series. He wants to win the tournament, but just in terms of a personal point of pride, he prides himself so much on his play with Garrote Rogue, and correctly so. I don't think that he overestimates his ability on the deck. He's incredibly good at it. Some of the best players I know go to him for advice on how to build and how to play this deck. And so to lose a mirror like that, it's going to sting, but like you said, the Garrote Rogue is going to get a win at some point, I would imagine. And if he were to queue it up again here into the Aggro Druid, in my opinion, that would be another good matchup for the Rogue to get things going.
Yeah, at the very minimum, a decent matchup, right? So
yes,
we've seen Taunt Druid getting at least on stream, getting the better of Garrote Rogue more times than I would have expected. Because usually Rogue can just keep the early board under control from Aggro Druid, and they really only lose if they run out of gas or draw a lot of their like combo pieces early and none of their actual tempo. So it kind of beats itself in that regard.
Yeah, that's definitely true. You do need to make sure that you have not only the initial heavy tempo push as Rogue, but also the follow-up. You need to make sure you have either the field contact, ideally, or a Swindle, a Shroud, a Secret Passage. There are many, many good cards that you can get to pull you ahead in the matchup. I will say one thing that does hurt about this matchup, or in terms of the decision that he's gone for with the deck list, is not including Kazakus. I think the Druid is one where you would very much like to have Kazakus to buff up your board once you're ahead. That can just end the game on the spot. But it's not going to be the Rogue with Furyhunter. It's going to be the Aggro Elemental Shaman, and something that I think some of the other Elemental Aggro Shaman lists have been missing is Bolner Hammerbeak. What a card in this list. I've been hit with it a couple times on ladder over the last couple of days since the deck list for this tournament went live. And this card is just absolutely filthy.
It is so good. Just so good.
Oh, yeah.
A couple ones to look out for early on. Granted, Forgeborn's the biggest, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you go Bolner into the Forgeborn, it's just insane. Because you get the double elemental reduction. But there's many others that have maybe a little bit weaker, but still good enough synergy. And it does feel like a must-remove threat on the board early on.
Look at this mulligan for Maggo, as I believe he just fist pumped and gave us a let's go at his draw, because this is a risky mulligan, right? Battle Guard is obviously the best card in the deck to have in the mulligan. The stats and the players are in agreement on this one. But not keeping any taunt minions to go alongside that can go a little bit awry if you don't find it. But he gets the perfect card in the Bone Chewer Brawler as well as the Battle Guard. This is the juice.
Oh, yeah. Omega Juice. Double Adorable Infestation as well. Imagine another taunt coming off the top for Maggo. And this game's just going to get out of control.
Fury, I think, trying to melt his monitor with his gaze there, because that was a stare that could kill from 50 feet, and understandably so. This is the nightmare start to the game. Nothing playable on this turn. His opponent has the absolute juice. Honestly, pack it up already. This is a disaster.
Yep. Just gonna take a power nap real quick.
Conserve energy. Oh, he wants to put the Fury back in Furyhunter so bad. He wants to rage so much. I love it.
And once again, Squeezing the bottle. Hey! Fingers on the temple. Need to conserve. This is the conserve round going on right now, so...
How curious.
He's just sat there thinking, why didn't I buy the squeezy version of my brain? It's so much easier to get the brain energy out. Who buys glass bottles anymore?
You pay a premium for that.
Mm.
All right.
I guess trade the 1/1. I don't want to sink 4 damage into a 5/4, but honestly, I wouldn't even hate just launching everything face.
Just to protect 1 extra damage from the squirrel.
Sure.
Which squirrel dying is not necessarily the worst thing, right? Because you have a chance to get it back. Furyhunter sort of has to go for Canal Slugger here. Granted, Forge One gets value traded on the board by the Battle Guard.
Yeah, you could follow up with Doomhammer the turn
Hexblade
after.
to be Forgeborn?
Yeah. Okay, so what? So you go Canal Slugger and then you go Forgeborn. Otherwise, you can go Forgeborn into Doomhammer. Neither sounds great.
Whoa!
I guess you can theoretically
go Forgeborn into Forgeborn Slogger.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Good. Let the salt flow through you.
Oh, yes.
Oh, this is so peak Fury. He's like this in every practice session as well. I absolutely love it.
All right, Earth Revenant off the top.
He can't generate it either, right?
No, well, he could, but it wouldn't be playable because Granite
Exactly,
doesn't affect all elementals and only affects ones that are in your deck or your hand.
He could go Menacing Nimbus into Arid Stormer into Gyre Worm. Maybe one of those things can buy him the time he needs to draw. I mean, if there wasn't exactly Arbor up. What? Gyre Worm?
Gyre Worm.
Yes, isn't that how it's pronounced?
I honestly have no idea. I pronounce it Euro Worm.
How authentic of you.
I know, because it's so delicious.
Well, Arbor Up allows you to push the 7 you have plus 8 more, which does not equal lethal quite yet. But is there any way your opponent pulls back the game from there? I'm going to say no.
No? Yeah, I'm going to say a big fat no.
Moon Touched Amulet?
Touched Amulet? Just direct damage. Cool.
Furyhunter's prayers seemingly go unanswered. I mean, it sucks, but like, you'd rather take all your beatings in one game. Like, this was an astronomically unlucky game for Furyhunter, with his opponent just getting the perfect hand and him having absolutely nothing to do in the early game. But you know what? A loss is a loss anyway. It doesn't matter how unfortunate it was or how much you lost by. You take it, you move on to the next game, and you turn things around.
Yep. Alright, it's Instructor Fireheart into Guidance Lightning Bloom into Lightning Bloom,
Never be afraid.
and then you hit a Guidance again, and then you get another Lightning Bloom.
Wait, what? But
Hit it infinitely.
no, but the guidance procs the effect, not the bloom, right? So you'd have to go infinite.
That's what I mean. So
infinite guidance,
Guidance, and then the Guidance hit. Yeah, infinite Guidances and Blooms. Infinite Guidance. So you're offered Guidance every time from Fireheart.
Yeah.
And then the Guidance offers you Bloom and Removal infinitely.
It's just all bloom and what would have to
Lightning Bolt.
Sacred Flame or the repeating flame, whatever it's called.
Perpetual flame?
Perpetual flame, yeah.
No, lightning bolt, and then you just win.
Sure. That's the
Keep
out.
throwing lightning bolts to face.
So if you have Fireheart and 1 mana, it's technically lethal. Is that the out that we're going for every game?
It's always lethal. Yep.
Well,
Always a chance.
2 games up now for Maggo. It means he only has 1 deck left to win with, and it is this Hunter, which interestingly enough, I think could be a bit of a sore spot for him in this matchup. Face Hunter against Rogue. I want to call it Rogue favored. Face Hunter against this Shaman. I want to call it Shaman favored. The Demon Hunter is where things get, I think, a little bit closer, but again, I do still want to call it Demon Hunter favored overall.
All right, but even if you're looking at 3 good or really good matchups, it's still hard to win 3 times in a row. But it's 1 game at a time, right? If we're looking at raw statistics here, you got to throw this out the window. We're in, top 8 here, which means that who cares what's happened previously? Who cares how many games of Face Hunter versus X have been played in the history of Hearthstone? It doesn't matter. All that matters is this game, and then once this game is resolved, then all that matters is the next game. Then once that one's resolved, then all that matters is the next game.
And then it's just 6 more games and you're the champion. It's easy as anything, one at a time.
And you win!
Whoa, just do that. But Furyhunter here with a weird hand. Again, it's so light on that elemental synergy that you really need in the starting turns. But I don't know, maybe if he can get a 1 or a 2 drop here, he can get things going with the Doomhammer and a whole bunch of burst damage. Maybe.
Hey!
Step up!
Trying to just wring out that brain energy, huh? Ooh, okay.
Oh, it was.
I mean,
that had happened last turn. If those cards were picked up in a different order, the Wailing Vapor and the Arid Stormer, that would have been fantastic.
You can still coin it out with the Rock Biter on this turn, and I still think, I mean, obviously it's much better last turn, but it's a good draw still. You can go for Arid Stormer into Gaia Hero Worm on the following turn, and it's still a lot of health, a lot of board swing that you're threatening then.
Yeah.
Realistically, got to be the Worm here, right? You don't want to trade away all the health on the Arid Stormer. Warsong Wrangler is annoying if you leave up the Volpatinger, I will say, because it can buff the attack to allow them to actually cleanly trade off the Gyre Worm next, or the Arid Stormer next turn. But even with that said, I think I'm just going with the Worm. Wow.
Yeah. Well, okay. Value trade?
Sure, this makes sense.
Yeah. Whoa.
Considering just piercing shot. I suppose next turn
I know.
you could then just go Warsong plus Volpatinger. You don't have to pick Wrangler on the following turn. Oh, sorry, you don't have to pick Rhino next turn, do you?
I mean, it does just seem better considering there's already been 1 Volpatinger played, but I guess that doesn't matter. The game was going to end long before.
Right, exactly.
Probably picked up the second one anyway, but I just feel like getting Trampling Rhino to continue to keep board is worth more.
Ooh. So obviously you're thinking Rhino first thing here, but you just have to play the Slogger. And to be fair, even though they can heal, they can deal damage off of it, you're going to heal. It's going to trade with the Rhino as well. It does make it a pretty weak turn for them. And I mean, this maps out reasonably well for Fury now, right? The Wailing Vapor makes this turn cleaner, but basically you're going Gyroworm to kill the minion off here, Trampling Rhino comes down and kills off your minion, then Lilypad Lurker kills off the Rhino. You've taken a lot of damage in the meanwhile, but he is ahead on board at the end of that battle.
And then from that point on, once both players are starting to run out of minions, Doomhammer, especially with the Storm Strike already there to try and clean up what's left of the board, is probably enough to win the race, though this is going to be a lot of damage coming through. And here it's interesting, right? Guardian Og Merchant makes this Rhino more difficult to remove, but Adorable Infestation pushes more damage immediately. The amount of power on board, right? Because you get the 1/1 alongside of it, so it's 2 additional power.
I mean, I do think I am just going for the Guardian Orc Merchant here to try and protect as much health as possible. It's not just the Lilypad Lurker that can be used to kill it off. There's a lot of damage, discrete breakpoints that have to be reached if you want to go about it a different way.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, yeah, but it does nothing.
It's a good card for this point, though. Imagine if he gets, I don't know, another Gyroworm that's just more damage face. Forgeborn, that's a big discount on his minions. Dungeoneer is insane if he gets Dungeoneer.
Dungeoneer would be insane. Yeah, Dungeoneer would be insane. Everything else is kind of meh. Take it or leave it.
Oh, that's a bit of a whiff. No more burst damage coming through for Maggo, and the thing that Furyhunter can deal with at the moment is board. With his minions in place, Stormstrike is, don't forget it, a very, very effective board control tool, as well as a burst damage tool. Oh,
okay,
man.
So we gotta count damage. If Furyhunter ships everything to face, would deal 9. And it would force Maggo to trade? Or else
9 down to 90.
Lethal preserved with double Storm Strike next turn?
Correct, yeah. Because it would be 16 plus the
Totem
5.
always happens.
And this still represents that lethal, right? It's 21 damage represented next turn with the
21
plus
exactly.
the 5.
Yeah.
So it means
it
something
protects the Lilypad Lurker from the minions on board trading into it.
That's it. He's done it. I think that's just game, right? The exact mana for Stormstrike, the exact damage to close out the game. What a clever attack from Furyhunter to preserve his minion, but still able to set up that perfect lethal. The series is still alive, TJ. Furyhunter gets a win on the board, and things look like they're starting to turn around.
It did look rough for a while, though. It looked incredibly rough with that opening hand, but nicely navigated, I think. And that's 1 down. And remember, it's all about this game. And now this game is done. Nothing in the past matters. So now it's just about the next game.
And so in about half an hour's time, it won't even have happened. So it's all good, Fury. What are you worrying about? Just win the games.
Make it sound so easy.
Yeah.
Looks. Let me see what's going to be next.
I think it
Doesn't really matter because nothing in the future matters and nothing in the past matters. So.
Quite right. Quite right. But Hunter vs. Rogue to be our next game in the series. A matchup that we've seen evolve over the course of Grandmaster, specifically in APAC, where Face Hunter has been a very, very popular deck. And Garrote Rogue has been a very, very interesting deck in the region, I suppose we could say, where players have got a lot more confident in it as time has gone on. But at the start, it felt very shaky in terms of the play on it. But again, for Furyhunter, I believe it is his signature deck right now. One of the main reasons why he is crushing in this metagame so hard is because of his extreme expertise on Garrote Rogue. And against Face Hunter, it's a relatively simple deck to play in this matchup, to be honest. You look for the highest tempo options every turn, and you try and just push them out of the game with your raw mana cheat.
Yep, and Octobot is the start for that. Looking for other things to just gain that tempo.
Oh, Swindle's not bad either.
Oh, the coin Bone True Brawler is pretty much the exact start that you don't want to see. Because that's the one thing that can challenge the Octobot.
Oh, it's true. You just can't go Octobot here, right? Even if it isn't the Org Merchant, it's just Wound Prey could be used to kill it off here. There's too many things that can go wrong. So I fully respect leaving the spell out from the Wand Thief and using it to combo the Brain Freeze.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I guess you trade the Wound Prey and the 1/1 and then send this 2/1 face, but either way, it just means that in this next turn that's looking kind of weak for Maggo, Furyhunter is pulling into the lead. He just needs to get a little bit of value off of this Swindle, maybe a little bit of extra card draw, basically anything that isn't Garrot, and he should be just fine.
Well, it is Garrot, so there it is. And not going to use this Brain Freeze on a 2/1 just challenged by the Octobot on board, so...
And for Maggo, you kind of have to damage the Octobot here, right? You can't allow them to proc it on their own turn. He's doing it. Oh! What? Oh! So just attack, field contact, Swindle, right?
Yeah, there's nothing to Brain Freeze, but would have 1 mana to spare after that to pick up something from the Swindle. Maybe even like a Shadow Step to get the... I don't even know if you'd want... I guess you'd want the field contact back in hand at that point, yeah.
So I guess what he's considering here, taking a slightly more mature approach to the matchup, is you don't have to play field contact on this turn, right? There's a lot of ways that they can kill it off on the following turn. And so potentially setting up by drawing more cards on this turn with, say, Garrot Swindle on this turn, and then going for bump, discount that hand, and then pop off on the following hand, I think is actually a very reasonable approach here.
Okay. Yep, makes sense to me.
Well, I think that's probably a Wrangler. Pretty straight up on this turn to try and set up for the Rhino. Like, Rinling's Rifle, to be honest, at the moment, you don't really know what you're going to need. You can make a guess at Explosive Trap. But I think I would rather just have the Rhino in hand and ready to start attacking.
Yeah. It's usually the way that you can get that damage over while still keeping control of board. I mean, these are a lot of premium cards in hand. A lot of just raw damage, too, from Aim Shot, Quick Shot.
Let none survive.
So if you go 4 and then another 5, 9, 12... I mean, even with all these cards in hand, it's still only, like, very generously 16, 17 damage, which is still a bit of a ways off. And so, I agree. The Rhino does need to make up the difference. So much value. It's exactly what Furyhunter needs here. Fireball, oh yes.
Okay. Oh, Guardian Og Merchant.
That's so sick.
Cool, bleed. Fireball's closer to lethal now. Ooh,
Probably just Neophyte. Yeah, I don't think the passage is necessary here.
yeah.
I guess you could... I mean, you could preemptively trade, like, in case they play Rinling's Rifle, and then you don't want to attack into a minion, but at the same time, you wouldn't want to attack face because it might be Explosive Trap as well. So I think it's perfectly fine here to just get some more damage face. It's honestly not out of the question that it's just lethal next turn for Furyhunter.
Yeah.
explosive!
You always feign the explosive, though. But I mean, even if it is explosive, like Furyhunter gets a full turn of field contact.
Right, exactly. I mean, he can start by attacking into a minion, and because Open the Cages wasn't picked, that's going to give Furyhunter all the information he needs to know, hey, this isn't explosive. His eyes open wide. Possibilities start blossoming before him. This game is looking extremely winnable now.
Oh, yeah. And by winnable, you mean over.
Hard to lose, I would say.
Yeah, very difficult to lose. Full tempo available. Obviously, there's still another Rinling rifle swing that could get explosive trap, but I mean, this is just going to keep on going.
I mean, I honestly didn't even check how many cards he had in his hand before he played the secret passage, but I'm pretty sure he's overdrawing now with the amount of cards he's drawing. I don't think he cares necessarily, but I think he's past that threshold.
There's a fireball in there.
Yeah, exactly. And so Maggo knows obviously that he needs, first of all, to get the explosive trap to survive, and even then he needs to rush into the... Oh no, he doesn't know about the fireball, sorry, so he can potentially just leave up the 3-1, and that will of course then give Furyhunter the win.
Okay, well, not explosive at least.
My hand is too full.
Yeah, since you're only dealing 1 damage to the Divine Shield, essentially, you don't get any splash damage.
Sufficient.
Okay, so you go boom, attack face. You can give only 1 spell damage now, right? Oh no, the field contact costs 0, so you go spell damage, fireball, dagger, guaranteed lethal. It's game 5.
Almost out of cards.
Nicely navigated, and now this one doesn't matter anymore. It's out of the way. The only thing that matters. Who cares? What happened?
What an idiot Furyhunter was 2 games ago. Now he knows it's easy wins for him, and it's just now one final game. Big sip of water from his jug, as it is now the Demon Hunter against the regular Hunter to close things out.
He should have just taken the sip directly from the jug. Like, there's no time to put it into the glass. You have to conserve energy.
He does, and his hands are just shaking. It spills all over his face. Well, here it is.
Like a true Hearthstone superstar.
Indeed. And I gotta say, now this is a matchup that I don't know how things have been over in the Americas, where 0 players are represented in the Masters Tour. But in Asia Pacific, where 0 players are represented in the Masters Tour, I thought that Demon Hunter was just a runaway favorite in this matchup against the Face Hunter. But I have had my eyes opened somewhat with some very, very strong play, mainly from Alan C86, who I think understands this matchup from the Face Hunter's perspective very, very well. Because I think there's a lot more to it, and it's a lot closer than I initially gave it credit for.
Yeah, I sometimes.
No?
I don't really think it's that close.
Do you think Demon Hunter just runs away with it?
Now.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Maybe if a good early start and you miss removal on the first couple board states and you're having to play catch up the whole game and you can't really complete the quest. But
well,
at least
I mean,
from like just experience, it just seems like Demon Hunter runs away with it.
Well, to explain it from my perspective, these cards in hand are, I think, actually what can make it really tough for the Demon Hunter, because these early pushes from the Hunter are good and sometimes necessary, and so getting a 1-drop here is still fantastic for Maggo. But But the problem is that when you go for a big heal swing clear, generally what does that come in the form of? It's Arcanist, Moog, and the Fellscream Blast, right? Which leaves 2 low health minions on the other side of the board. And so very often you'll heal up to like, I don't know, 25, 30. Trampling Rhino plus a True Aim is just going to deal 10 like that straight away on the other side. And then all of a sudden, you're low on cards. If you haven't played Kurtrus yet, they put so much pressure on you that you have to make the decision between quest completion and between healing. And very often if you do go for the healing, the Hunter, I think nowadays, has the follow-up afterwards. It's not always as simple as that, of course. I think that I would still put the Demon Hunter slightly in the lead because the Hunter doesn't always have the follow-up to those big board clears. But generally, I will say that once you heal to 30 in this matchup as the Demon Hunter, it's no longer just over on the spot.
Yeah. Biggest part is just actually finding a way to win the game from that stage, I guess.
Sure.
You gotta win at some point. You can't just not lose.
That's true.
I know. That's why I said it.
Well, you can't just be not wrong forever, TJ. You have to be right sometimes. Okay, so 2 cards drawn this turn. You can go for double jump acrobatics that would then discount his Illidari studies and, of course, whatever else he draws. Okay. Start with that.
Can do that too?
Yeah. And glide instead of acrobatics. Okay.
Wants to find some removal, perhaps? Some immolation auras? Okay, Fellscream.
Oh.
Okay, Spectral Sight? Waha!
This is starting to pop. I mean, Guild Trader Fellscream Blast alone is such a premium combination. Being able to go for a big board clear, but not leaving multiple small health minions on the board for Rhino to prey against is so big. Well, it looked like Maggo had a pretty simple plan by picking the Volpatingers, right? You play them, and you hope it kills them.
Oh, weaving it in. Weavy, weavy, lemon squeezy.
Becoming a father has changed you, TJ.
Furyhunter's just doing math on his fingers. All right, that's 1, 2 damage from the hero power. The next one, 4. Okay, well, you can't do Arcanist Spectral Sight first. If you wanted to dump the Arcanist to get the Spectral Sight.
Right.
Oh, just going to dump both.
Yeah,
okay.
Killing off as much as he can.
A little excessive.
I mean, it actually kills off the 3/4. Otherwise, it was alive as a 3/1, and he takes quite a bit more damage. And
true, yeah.
I think it's fine. He's with a Fellscream Blast already gone. The Arcanist is honestly not going to get that much use.
Yeah.
Magical. Magical.
Okay. I mean, it's obviously Kurtrus in hand on this turn. It's just how does he fill out the rest of it? And with Mohawk and Tusk Piercer, he could go for both of those to complete the second level of acrobatics if he wants to. He still could if he wants to.
Not a huge downside, because even though Hunter has spells that they could use for Moarg, like you, at that point you wouldn't really care about the minions being on the board. You would just care about trying to get more minions that can actually, or get more cards that can actually do something. It is going to take the draw.
Oh, he just needs a bit of removal. This hand is everything you need, except that Immolation Aura, that I-Beam, that Fellscream Blast, something to answer this, and he needs it on this very turn.
Yeah, Immolation Aura off the top would be huge because he could play Kurtrus and Immolation Aura. Oh, nope, this is still going to kill the Moarg, but it's going to be one of the 3/2s going over it.
Oh, that's not it. I-beam?
I-beam?
Okay, you can go I-beam plus... I-beam plus Kurtrus? You really want to get it down on this turn, and it's still possible, but that won't kill the Rhino, will it? It's still at 4 health.
Yeah, but you'd only have a 7/7 on board, which the Rhino would be able to attack face, but nothing else.
That's true. That's true.
Gonna expend the Moarg and the Talented Arcanist, so it's just gonna be the minions on board.
And this is the situation I'm talking about, right? Where so much of the combo, the healing has been used up. It's getting to the point where for Maggo, he's just running out of resources to get there. But with a helpful draw, maybe if he can dump the quick shot as well this turn or next turn, he can still get there. This is achievable for both players.
This is tense.
Muzzle their magic.
And I think you're just hero powering rather than quick shotting, right? You want to weave it in.
My quest, my revenge, it all ends here!
Okay, well, it gets one trade.
Oh!
Fell Screen Blast?
No spell damage,
All right, so
no
6, 7,
Moarg.
8, 9. 9 guaranteed damage on board. To be at 7. Aim shot would only be at 5 to that. So
Correct.
Runner damage to kill him. So he's got to go sigil
It's
here.
so precise.
And hit face and hope. All right, aim shot off the top. Wound prey. Still available because it's cheap.
3 more.
You can dump the quick shot.
Oh, Demon Companion! That never gets there, right?
No.
I don't think so. It was only ever +2 damage, which is 1 off.
There is only a guild trader left as far as spell damage goes.
Yeah.
But
No Moargs
with
either.
acrobatics, no Moargs, but with acrobatics, a lot of cards can be drawn next turn.
That's absolutely right. And the sigil as well. He's going to get through almost his entire deck guaranteed.
Victory is in my grasp.
Oh my goodness, I can't watch.
No time for games.
So guild trader would heal for 9, right? With the Fell Screen Blast, with no cards in hand and clearing the board. Whoa!
Oh, he's killing.
They're not going to give any Fell Scream targets.
That's smart.
That's very smart. Viper is a free way to get rid of it, I guess. So you do it on your own minions.
Right, so you're going... I mean, unless there's lethal, which I don't think there is, right? Even with Il'gynoth and Guild Trader. Even with I-beam as well.
I-beam.
Dreadlord's Bite, I guess. Yeah, just to play it and get it out of the way for the I-beam. So you're going Guild Trader. I-beam the opposing minion. Oh my goodness, it's so close. I mean, it's the same either way, right? You're paying 3 overall for everything with the I-beam and the Dreadlord's Bite.
Time grows short.
I mean, he's wondering if he even needs to play the Fell Screen Blast, right? It's only if it's exactly wife into quick shot aim shot. Yeah, exactly. Or just quick shot aim shot, like you said. It's so precise, and I think he's just going for killing them with Il'gynoth next turn. He doesn't even want the heal. Oh.
It's got to be runner. Or Ogra into aim shot.
Oh,
Just aim. That is the next card.
Oh, it's 7 damage, 2 off, and Furyhunter with the reverse sweep, 2-0 down at the start of the series. He took it one game at a time, as we said, and he's going through to the semi-finals. This man is unstoppable.
That was a very difficult game to navigate.
There's no way he can survive, right? Even if he shoots the 4-3, you just go face, 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 Il'gynoth, Fellscreen Blast for 9. It's still lethal.
Vengeance is near.
Yeah. He can try, but like, he's got to take off something. This is a one peddler list, right? Yeah, last three cards are double jump, double immolation aura.
Oh, such a sick turnaround. I could not be happier for Fury. He's been working tirelessly year after year, one of the cornerstones of the competitive Hearthstone system, and finally it might be his time to shine once again. It's been years since his last big victory at DreamHack, and now through to the semi-finals. I'm hyped, TJ. I'm happy for him. This means the world.
Yeah, that is a big one and an impressive victory for him as well. Some very tough games, a reverse sweep, right?
Yeah.
So we don't get to see, well, I guess we do get to see those, especially in Conquest, right? Because usually you have one list that you're trying to target, but I doubt it was Facehunter in this situation. It just happened to have some good matchups across the board. And I think Maggo played that well also. It wasn't just this one-sided thing. Obviously, Furyhunter is a player that we've been following for quite a long time, but Maggo is a player who, kind of new, at least from our perspective, has played in some Masters tours, but this is really his big breakout performance up until then. So have to give credit where credit is due, but at the end of the day, it'll be Furyhunter moving on.
And I just think he piloted it at the end so expertly. That beautiful dance between needing to go for healing versus combo. The heart of OTK Demon Hunter as a deck. Why I think it's such a persistent deck. No matter what you do to it, it still manages to crop up, and it's such a favorite of the Hearthstone pro community as well. Furyhunter balanced that tightrope just perfectly. That final turn where he saved the Fellscreen Blast, not wanting to heal overly, not letting himself be